afternoon, everybody. I just came over here and it was pouring down rain. It snowed this morning and now it is just cold and windy. Yes, I'm your weather girl. Okay, so, oh my gosh, so many things to tell you. This tells you I have a giveaway today. I have my cup with everybody's name in it. This tells you I need to update you on some stuff. I have a lot of stuff to update you on, but first, let's do something fun. And I want to show you, remember how I used that Echo Park Bee pack, Bee Happy pack? This is that other pack, the Have a Nice Day or whatever. And I just made a bunch of easel fold cards. Using the kit the same way. I just cut a whole bunch of card bases. I cut a whole bunch of panels and I just kind of threw these together this morning. I had an hour or two and I have gobs of paper left to do more. I'm gonna make more, but I just think these are really fun. There's no stamping at all, just putting paper together, and oh my gosh, it was just fun. And so while I'm waiting for people, I just thought, you know, hey, I'll show you these. Look at that. Aren't those cute? And so, gosh, when I was at work, I used to put these kind of things in people's lockers all the time, and I had gobs of things to do with them. But now I mail out a few every month and I give the rest to JJ to give to the elderly and in the care centers. So, you know, these, well, some of these will be going to JJ. Let me set them aside. Okay, let's update. First, let's talk about this Stamp of the Month thing. Okay, this has been confusing with the changes that close to my heart. Sally, last week I did a live where I showed some cards I made using an Echo Park kit, and this is just another Echo Park pack, and I showed it last week. I just wanted to show you what I did with it. That's all. Okay, let's talk about this. This was March Stamp of the Month, and it is now, the thin cuts on this are sold out. So if you are waiting for thin cuts to arrive just for this set, I'm sorry to tell you they're on the retired list. But I've played around with this, and it's really, most of the time the stamps are big enough, you're just putting them onto panels. You're not really cutting out individual chicks. So unless you're scrapbooking with them, you're probably not going to have to cut very much. This is the current April Stamp of the Month, and technically our last Stamp of the Month. Little hedgehogs. I did not buy the thin cuts to this because I looked at it. Sometimes I just look at the shapes of what the thin cuts would be to see how much am I really gonna mind cutting this out and how much will I cut it out, right? And this is another one that I have a tendency, when I have an image like this, I stamp it onto a panel, you know, instead of just cutting out each piece. So I figured the ones I'd cut out the most are this flower and this leaf, and I was like, yeah, I can handle that. So this one I basically just bought as is, and I like the messages on it, so that's a good one. Now, May. So what happened was when Stampin' Up! Purchased some of the product from May and June, they did not purchase the May Stamp of the Month. So Close to My Heart had purchased and ordered a bunch of this stamp set right here. Now, you will see this on the website. It was supposed to go live for customers during that craziness, was that yesterday or the day before? I've lost track a little bit of the crazy days because there's so many lately. But it was an error that it did not get put on right away. And so it is there right now. Now, here's the thing. There's two versions of it. I bought the European version for myself because the only difference is this word right here. This says holiday on the European version. On the American version, that says vacation. And I wanted the holiday. So I bought the European version. Now, I know some of you are like, I'm done ordering. I've ordered everything I want. I don't want anything else. If you want this set, I purchased 2 extras that say vacation, okay, the American version. And I'm selling them for $15 each, first come, first serve. It's a great set. I love it, love it, love it. Hello Summer. This spring, I like this one better than the thin cut spring that they just came out with. I like all this stuff that says summer for scrapbooking, right? And good times. I love these little stars, these little flowers, these little, I mean, look at how many little, you know, scatter elements are on this one. So this is a good one. And if you're going to order anyway, look at it online and see if it's something that you want. But if you're not placing any orders right now, remember I have 2 that say vacation right here. If you want them, message me. The first people to IM me get it. That's $15. I think that's a pretty good deal. And, cheaper than what you can get on the website. Okay, I have so many updates to give you, but I want to do something fun first. I want to do a giveaway. So I purchased a bunch of these cut above layout kits. As a matter of fact, I purchased like 5 packs of them and things like that because I wanted to do some giveaways. I thought about maybe doing a class with them. I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but this is the one that I showed. This is the one that I showed in one of my lives. I got a lot of comments about it, and some of you may have been able to get online and pick it up. But I just wanted you to know it's a giveaway today. Now, if I draw your name out, this has everybody's name who is a VIP. I no longer technically have a hostess club. It's sort of disbanded at this point because everybody got rewards. Through the month of March, I gave away all my 50% off rewards to all of you. I don't even think I used one for myself because I wanted to make sure everybody in the club got what I had promised them for the year. The other thing is, I think going forward when I do giveaways, if you've placed an order with me, your name will go in here. I don't know how I'll do that, whether it's every $25 or every $50. I'll put your name in more than once. But I will definitely be drawing from customers who have purchased. I think that's the only logical thing to do. If I draw your name and you're not into this, please message me and let me know so I can draw a new name. Ready? Lisa Pence. Lisa, you are the winner of this. I'm going to put your name on it. That's kind of convenient because I have something else to deliver to you. And I'm getting ready to mail a bunch of stuff out. I'm excited. Let me put this down. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to move my camera just for a minute, and I just want to show you my table over there. Look at that. I am getting ready to, sorry, it makes you dizzy. I am getting ready to mail out a whole bunch of little scrapbook kits. I think 2 people have now messaged me, and so it'll be Sally and Stephanie getting those sets. Let me just write your names down. I just happened to notice it popping on my phone since I'm actually looking at my phone. Okay, I have news. I have big news. First, I got promoted. I got promoted to innovator. Innovator in the close to my heart world is it's a big promotion. It's one I never dreamed I would get. And it's exciting. And nothing like going out with a bang, right? And it's because of you guys, of course. So I just wanted to say thank you. And that's part of all the things I'm mailing out to you coming up this next week, probably. I don't know. We'll see. I've got a few things scheduled the next couple days. So we'll see how fast I can get those together. But I just wanted to say thank you. Okay. Stampin' Up! And close to my heart. I don't know if you're sick of this, but I'm sorry. I have to give you updates. It is just endless. They are finalizing us transitioning over. So my official date for signing up will be like April 15th or something. And all through the month of April, there are close to my heart people signing up as Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, but we will not officially be Stampin' Up! Demonstrators until May 1st. Okay, I am not going to pay for a website at this point in the game because the websites are like $12 a month. And, you know, that doesn't sound like very much, but it's a significant amount when you don't make very much. And I don't know how I'm going to do with Stampin' Up!, to be honest. There's a lot of people here who already are Stampin' Up! Demonstrators or already are affiliated with a Stampin' Up! Person, and I don't want to steal you away from a Stampin' Up! Person that you love. So, yeah, I don't know how I'll do. So, for now, if you order from me, which I appreciate very much if you do, in May, you'll basically have to enter my name as as your hostess or as your demonstrator. Okay. A few things. When Stampin' Up! And Close to My Heart got together, they decided to purchase some of Close to My Heart's product. Now, it is exclusively going to be sold by Close to My Heart makers who have transitioned over. It is not going to be sold by Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, current demonstrators. And that's partially because there's not enough product to service the entire Stampin' Up! World right now, but also because it's a nice transition point for all of us transitioning over. And we all love Close to My Heart, and there's a reason that we purchase more from Close to My Heart right now than Stampin' Up! And part of that is the product line. So, they purchased some of the product line. I'm going to sneak peek you some of the things and how they're going to roll that out. Okay. So first sneak peek. Let me see if I can get this bigger. This is the May paper pack. And no, I was not going to show it to you right away, but how can I resist? And I don't even know if this is allowed to show you. I'm doing it anyway. I don't know. But anyway, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's very summery. It's very beautiful. This is going to be for the month of May. And what they've purchased is the papers, the cardstock, the scrapbooking kit, the card making kit, the gems or accessories, and the sticker sheet, which is different. All of those are new for Stampin' Up. Now, this one is only during the month of May, and I suspect, you guys, it's gonna sell out pretty fast. The way things are going, oh my gosh, it's been total chaos with these sellouts, but it will be for close to my heart makers who have transitioned to Stampin' Up demonstrators to sell to close to my heart customers. So this is an exclusive thing for close to my heart customers. It will be sold on the Stampin' Up website. And the reason they know that you are one of my customers is because of the email that I told you had to update your account with. They pulled all those over. If you are not receiving email from Stampin' Up, you need to go into your Stampin' Up account that you already have and see if you have turned off all of their email. You know how you can turn on and off whether you get email from a company? Look and see if you've turned that off, because you should have received, or you may be receiving, something from Stampin' Up soon. And that's how you'll know, that they have you listed as one of my customers. Okay, so this is for May. I'm gonna have to turn it. All right, here is the May workshop. Yes, Heather. So you will see it in your Stampin' Up store. My understanding is if you put me down as your demonstrator, if you enter me as your demonstrator, they didn't say any other detail. So they didn't talk about Stampin' Up consultants who are customers of Close to My Heart, but they did say any customer who has an email and has been getting Close to My Heart emails will be on that list. So if you get stuff from Close to My Heart, you should be fine. All right, so this one's cool. It's hard to see, but this one has a stencil and some gems, sticker sheet, and it has a couple of exclusive papers and die cuts, etc. So there's the workshop. Okay, then they showed this that they purchased. This is an alphabet set. They were excited about it, and if you look at it, it has that line under it. So it looks like it doesn't cut. It looks to me like it doesn't cut like that bottom line right there. So that you can put it onto any size of cardstock. See how that looks right there? And then in their samples, you can kind of get a feel for that. Anyway, another alphabet set. Okay, then it's going to be different from Close to My Heart. Close to My Heart has been having a 2-month catalog. These will not be in any catalog. These are going to be like a digital flyer kind of thing. Okay, so you may get the flyer in your email. That's a good possibility. So if that goes out, Heather, and you say, hey, I didn't get it, then I'll call them. So, but yes, I think they know that people buy from everywhere. They know. They are aware. A lot of us have talked about having Stampin' Up! People as customers, so they're aware. Okay, this is the June. Let me turn it. All right, there, it's bigger. This is the June paper pack called Lake Life, and it's just gorgeous. You know, I don't go to the lake. I'm not particularly outdoorsy necessarily, but I love this color scheme and I really love these papers. So I know I'll be able to use them. Isn't it pretty? It's just so pretty. It's kind of hard to see the papers. I'm trying to show you. Okay. Don't know if you receive close to my heart to Stampin' Up! Emails because you're a customer. Well, you don't get them because you're a demo. I don't think they send those out. Close to my heart doesn't send out Stampin' Up! People demos. Yeah. Okay, this is the workshop. Hard to see. Let me see if I can flip it. There's the papers. It has dies, exclusive paper. Oop. And this one has like die cut embellishments, sticker sheet. Okay, so that is May and June. Now what happens? So they have a transition plan. So June, basically, they told us all the stuff that they purchased that they're going to be offering. And that in June, May is that first kit. But in June, they're also going to offer the mix-in and I think a few additional products like the, they're going to offer coordinating ink during each of the months. So if you are missing those colors of ink, I think that might be another opportunity to get those. And, you know, that would be when maybe that alphabet set will show up. I don't know. Okay. And then July and August is when it gets interesting. So my understanding is they purchased the collection of July and August paper, at least July. And then they also purchased the summer gnomes. So there's going to be 2 paper collections. I don't know when in July and when in August those will be released, but it'll be, you know, the paper, stickers, the cardstock that coordinates, the dots, any die cuts, the stamp and thing cuts, the workshops, and a few other close to my heart products. That's what they said. But they said, you know, they're offering coordinating ink pads and that kind of thing. Now, none of these dates are set in stone. None of them are set in stone. And they're scrambling, people. They're really scrambling. I guess in the real world, to bring out a new collection, like, you know, Let's Go Anywhere or whatever, they start planning over a year in advance. And it takes months to get it actually to the point where they have it in hand. So trying to rush this the way they are, oh my gosh, their product development person at Stampin' Up! Looked very stressed. She looked really, really stressed. But so September, December, in this time frame, they're going to have, this is when they start bringing in some of their own versions of our Close to My Heart workshops. They're going to have Halloween, autumn, a couple of Christmas workshops for scrapbooking, a card making workshop, because you know, card making and it's Christmas. They're going to have specific stamp sets with a scrapbooking focus, and they're going to start introducing two-tone white core cardstock, kind of like the Close to My Heart cardstock, into their line, not to replace what they do, but to add to what they have. And then the memory protectors. So they're starting to introduce some of the Close to My Heart ideas. They also talked about, they did purchase the magnetic ink pad, rights, but they're like, that is going to be a little while because they have a huge stock of their own ink pads and they have to go through those first. It's kind of taken a back seat to getting all the Close to My Heart people on board and then trying to get all these products put together in a way where they're ready to sell. And it is all just, oh my goodness, it's all just coming together. Yay! I'm very excited. Isn't that exciting? Now, for me, the bestest news, and for you, it probably does not matter whatsoever. But as I know that several of you are Stampin' Up! People, and I just want you to know that we have been given the blessing, the okay, the official policy to continue showing Stampin' Up! Our Close to My Heart products like the glues and the cutter and the scissors and, all of the products, the cardstock through December. So at some point, I'll be slowly transitioning over to using some of the Stampin' Up! Products, but I have a long time before I have to do that. Okay, any questions? Woo! Their scrapbooking line is so limited, but oh my gosh, I wish I could show you the video of what their plans are. They're expanding and they're dedicated to it. And it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And they're going to start coming out with paper lines very geared to scrapbooking instead of just, these little 6x6s, and some of the patterns that they have aren't exactly made for scrapbooking. I mean, you have to get very creative to put together scrapbooking pages using some of their papers. Not that it can't be done, because we're all creative, but it's just not easy. And so, yep, they're dedicated. So, okay, well, hang in there, Sally. They are planning, they got plans, and they've got their stuff together. They're a lot more, I want to say corporate. They're a lot more businessy, rules and timelines, and everything's got to be in their little box. A lot more so than Close to My Heart. Close to My Heart is more touchy-feely. You're my aunt. I feel like Monica is my cousin and my Jeanette is my aunt or whatever. It's very family oriented at Close to My Heart. It's a little different at Stampin' Up, but it'll be fine. And if it's not, I quit. That's just how that goes. I got tons of stuff I can show. But in the meantime, I'm excited. I'm excited about the possibilities. And so I don't think it'll be messed up for you, Sally. As long as you have a Close to My Heart account and you have an email on there, on your account, I think you'll carry through. That's just simply how they did it. Truly, they pulled over email from Close to My Heart. Period. That's what they did. And if you don't go through, I'll make a phone call. When I sign up, I decided to change over my upline. So it's a big deal for me, and it's a big move for me. But it's a good move for me too, because I've basically been adopted by another upline for the last, 8 years or so. So I signed up under her. Anyway, so here we are with this catalog, and yeah, I can flip through here and I'm like, yeah, sold out. But one of the things I want you to think about before you just toss all of your catalogs, is really look at the layout and the artwork in each of these catalogs, because some of these are just amazing. And this layout, for example, look at that. It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it could be adapted to almost any paper pack, right? You know, Heather, this is crazy, but I had a almost 3-foot stack of close to my heart catalogs from when I first started. It was so big and it was taking up so much room. I kind of went through and I started looking at stuff like this, and I would rip a page out and stuff it in with my stamp set just so, you know, I had the idea or whatever. And then I'm like, this is too much work. And so I recycled a lot of my catalog. So I only have the last maybe 4 or 5 years, but even that, I am about ready to purge those as well. I wish I would have kept my very first catalog that I ever had as a consultant. I can show you on the little card that I'm sending you in the mail, the little stamp of the bear in there is the very first stamp I ever purchased with Close to My Heart. And that was in 1996. So there you go. Anyway, cut above. See, that's great layout. Great layout. There's a bunch of them. But today I'm kind of flipping around through here. I want to do this one. This is the one that I am excited about. Now, here's my problem, you guys. Yeah, I do some travel stuff. I do, but I don't do enough for all of these layouts to be travel themed. I'm boring, but I have the workshop. Where is my workshop? I have the scrapbooking workshop, and I actually accidentally purchased an extra. Why did I do that? I miscounted when I was buying them for you guys, and I ended up with an extra. So if somebody ended up short, this is sold out, and you want mine, message me, because I have one. I'm not going to use it. Not right away. Anyway, if I do, I'm going to alter it, because it's just, I can't do all travel themed. Just can't do it. Okay, but today I want to do this one. So here's my trick. You guys know my trick. This is a 12 by 12 layout. And when it's in the catalog, it's hard to get a feel for how big things are. And so what I like to do is make my own ruler. So you take just a scrap piece of paper that you have sitting on your table, and you cut a strip the same length as that, okay? And then you fold it in half. And then you fold it in half again. Like that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a pen. I'm going to mark this as 6 inches. This as 9 inches. This will be 12, right? This is 3 inches, right? And then under each thing, you just basically make 2 even spaced tick marks. That's approximate. I obviously not really measuring, but there's my new ruler. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, that needs to be over a little bit, 8, 10, 11, and 12, right? So there's my new ruler. I'm going to use this ruler on this layout to give me an idea of how big things are. For example, this opening of this blue thing right here is approximately 4.5 inches right here. That's very helpful to know. If I was eyeballing that, I would have guessed that more 5 or 6, I think. But it's only 4.5 inches, so there you go. And if I want to recreate, you know, this stripe, I want to cut this little stripe, I can put this on here and get an idea for how big it is. It's about 3/4 of an inch, maybe a half. All right, so I want to show you close up the papers. They've got a French vanilla background. I think it's French vanilla. Actually, it looks sponged in shortbread to me. I think it is. But there's that. And then there's a strip of scarlet, a strip of the plaid, and then there's this big piece of airplane paper, and it's not just torn in half. See, there's no tears over here. So there's definitely a V torn out of it. And under it, there is this panel of the travel paper, a panel of the scarlet, and then down at the bottom, there's another little 1/4 inch piece of the plaid, a 1/2 inch zip strip. I know that's a 1/2 inch because it's a zip strip. And then another little sliver of scarlet, and then some stamped images. So yeah, that's a 1/2 inch, that stripe. Now here's the thing, I don't want mine travel themed, but I want to use the travel paper pack, right? I want to use this. So I'm going to show you kind of what I think I have in mind. If I flip some of these papers around. All right, here's the papers. And then the back of this one is the gray. So what they did was they cut, you know, a strip off of each end of the gray, and then to use the plaid, and then use this as the bulk. I want to do something else with that. And then the green is on the back of this beautiful blue. And see, they only use that blue right here. And so I love this green. I have photos that will go with this green and blue. I want to make this. Instead of the airplane paper, I think I want to use this map paper. I could use the blue on it, but I think I want to use the map paper here. And so that means that real pretty blue will be my stripe right there. So that's my tentative plan. And so I want to go ahead and kind of cut that and get that ready. And then as far as what happens with this red stripe, I'm kind of thinking it might look a little Christmassy to have that red and green together like that. So I pulled out a piece of sapphire, and I think I may go with the sapphire for the stripe. We'll see. Well, Heather, I have one if you would like it. I definitely have one, and I do not want to get, you know, stuck with it. My plan is to sell it, so if any of you want it, let me know soon. I'd like to sell it while people are still craving it. And then this paper right here, both sides are very travel themed. I am not sure how I'm going to use this yet. It may be tucked right there. Yeah. Well, this is just the paper pack, so you will have this. All right, so there's my tentative plan. I'm tentatively going to use blue instead of red. I'm going to tuck this away just for a minute. I may need a little red on here just to break things up and to pull it in with the stickers and everything. The first thing I want to do, I want to cut off the zip strips. We know we're going to need a couple of zip strips. I pulled out a couple sheets of French vanilla for the base. All right. I'm going to raise up my camera. This makes it where I cannot see your comments very well. I'm sorry, but if I miss comments, I'll go back later and try to answer. All right, so this paper I'm setting aside because I don't know when or how I'm going to use that yet. I know I need the zip strips off of it though. So, putting that aside, I'm going to go ahead and take the zip strips off of this green paper because I definitely want to use the green. All right. And then the blue, I'm not sure how I'm going to use this yet. I'm going to take the zip strips off of it as well, just so I'm ready to cut it. This little, I am definitely going to use it. Maybe not the zip strips, but I am going to use the paper. All right, so these I'm just going to set off to the side for a minute because I don't need those right away. What do I need? If I'm going to use blue instead of red for this stripe, I need to cut a couple of strips. One of the reasons I love this trimmer, and I won't be buying another trimmer anytime soon, is because this trimmer's awesome. So what I'd like to do is, like at the 12-inch mark, I scooch it over. I only need 1/8 inch little strips. And so I'm going to move this to the 1/8 inch, and as long as it's up against this top, it cuts it smooth all the way down. A nice 1/8 inch stripe. Look at that. So I have that one, and I'm going to do a 2-page layout, so I need 2 of them. I'm going to go ahead and cut another. Isn't that great? Okay, so I have 2 of those off to the side over here. And then the other piece of blue that I would need by changing it up is this right here. And I think I'm going to do this as a chunk, like a big rectangle. How big of a rectangle? Well, I need it to be at least 5 by 7. And I might make it 5.5 by 7 just to give me a little more leeway. So I'm going to cut that at 5 and flip it 5 by 7. I'm going to put the rest of this cardstock aside because I don't know how I'm going to use it or if I'm going to use it. But here is for that window. Okay. My next piece that I need to cut is I need to cut, well, why don't we cut the interior here? This interior is going to be easy. It's going to be inside of my giant green piece. So it's got to be something more subtle because this green is bold, right? Now I could, if I made it travel themed, I could put the airplane print in there. I could put the passport print in there or this print, you know, whatever. But I think I'm going to use the plaid. Now this piece gets torn and it is currently 4.5 by, well, at least 6 or 7. So I think I can make this 5 by 7 as well, and it'll give me enough room to tear. This piece is non-directional. It doesn't matter which way I put it in the trimmer. I just know I want a 5x7 piece. So I'm going to make that essentially the same size as this, but this is the one I'm going to tear, okay? And it's going to show through like that. That's my plan. I mean, I could have done the airplanes, that soft color, but I want to use the plaid. All right, now I'm ready for the giant piece, the airplane piece. And I know I need a 1/2 inch here and a 1/4 inch here. So let's cut that off first. And I am just gonna make mirrored pages. Oh, I should have cut 2 of those. Let's do, if I'm gonna make mirrored pages, I need 2. I'm gonna cut another 5x7 of this. I'm surprised none of you said anything to me. Another 5x7 of blue. Okay. Now I have page 2 done. Oh, except my stripes. Oh, well, I'll come back to that. All right. So these are going to be my main page, and I kind of like the stripes going up and down. If I'm going to have the stripes right here, I want them vertical. So I want to put them in my trimmer so that I'm getting vertical stripes here. And I'm going to stack them together, and I want a 1/4 inch for the bottom. So I have 2 1/4 inch stripes, and I need a 1/2 inch. 1, 2, and 2 1/2 inch pieces for the top. That might be weird with that blue. I'll have to see. Okay, now we need to see how big is this piece really. It is 9.5 inches by the full page 12. So now I need this at 9.5. I have this left over. Now I have, see, I could make the whole thing green or the whole thing blue, but I like it green. So I will put my trimmer away, and let's start doing this tearing thing. What I want to do, I'm going to get out my pencil. The tear on this is about 5 inches wide, and it starts about 2.5 inches down. So I'm going to make a mark at, did I say 2.5? Yes, 2.5. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make my mark at about 2.5, and then it's going to be approximately 5 to 5.5 inches, like that. That does not look right to me. 2 at the bottom. It's a lot wide. Oh, it's wider. Okay, and then it's about 2 from the bottom. All right. I need to flip to a real thing. I'm like, that's not right. Now this is right. Now I can do it. Okay, so about 2.5, and it's about 2 inches from the bottom, and then yeah, the whole thing is about 5. That makes more sense. Okay, and then it needs to go in by probably about 7 or 8 inches from the edge. So it needs to tear to about here. And my pencil marks won't show, and I don't even know if you can see them, but it'll give me a better idea for where to tear. And when you tear this paper, you want to tear it towards you. There's that one. Because you want the white showing. Okay. Now, this back part won't matter. It will be covered. So I have this extra. And now I have my pieces for each page. That's kind of how I'm going to make it look. Now, in order to roll paper, it really does help to wet it a little bit. I have like my little spritz bottle, and I'm just going to spritz the edge. And you may think, oh my gosh, what are you doing? But this is how you get that raggedy, kind of torn, rolled look. And you want some of it to be rolled and some of it not. And I'm going to go ahead and flip it and do the same thing here. So I'm intentionally, tearing it a little bit right there. And this will be covered. So here is that page. All right. Now I'm going to spritz with water again, just around the edges. And remember, this is the part that's going to show. Flip it over and kind of roll that back a little bit as well. All right. Now, I have this all wet. Okay. So, let me just start with that left side. I have my French vanilla. This is going to be here. I have a stripe that is going to go up at the top. And I have a zip strip that is going to go at the bottom. And I have a little tiny stripe. Can you guys see this okay? That's going to go here. This is the generic kind of look so far. There's going to be a picture or two right here that will cover this up. This is the part that's going to show. So the next thing I need to do is take I'm going to slide this in, right? And you can, depending on how big you cut how big you cut this and how much you tore off, you can tuck it in either way. I'm going to tuck mine in like that. And then this piece needs to tear also so it fits, so the blue shows through. So I'm going to tear this. That. Okay, there's those. And then again, I want to roll this, and it is easier if you wet it, but if you don't wet it, you just have to work with it. Sometimes I'll use my fingernails a little more to bend that over. Okay, and then this will go in like this. Nice, I like it. Okay, so there's the general gist of how I want my layout to go. Now I'm looking at it, trying to make sure I made all the right paper choices. I could have done something a little different with this blue strip here, but I don't know, kind of like it. I kind of like it being blue and green. And I like this paper. I think I can use it for Steve's racetrack papers. Let me see. Okay, no messages, no problems so far. All right, so this is what I'm gonna start putting together. Now the other thing, it really does have some, it looks like shortbread or toffee sponging on it. I'm trying to decide how much of that I want. And I don't know. I don't know if I want any of that right now. All right, so I'm gonna start putting this together. Okay. The first thing is this top strip. What's really nice, if you have like the Close to My Heart ruler, I'm sorry if you don't, but if you have a quilt ruler, you know my quilt ruler I use all the time. It is about 1/2 inch off the top. And so what I'm doing is I'm lining up my ruler all the way across at the 1/2 inch mark, which is 4 little grids. And you can butt this up against the edge and make it straight across. And then you can put your strips in place. So I'm gonna first start with just a little dollop of glue. And I'm gonna put my cardstock in place. Boy, is that skinny. Probably would be easier to put the other piece on first, but it is done. All right, and then I'm gonna put, then I can just butt this up to it, right? I don't know if I like the blue with the blue, but I'll figure that out. I'm not worried. I have just a smidge overhang there. Okay, I like it. All right, and then I'm gonna do essentially the same thing at the top. I just wanna make sure I put everything on the way it needs to be. So again, this section is what I'm doing right here. And the first thing that goes on is that little blue stripe, and it looks like about 3/4 of an inch up. So there's 1/2, there's 3/4. I've got it nice and straight. I'm gonna dot that on. If this is off, I have a plan. Like if I'm off a little bit, it's not the end of the world, I guess. That's the moral of the story. When I'm copying a layout or, you know, doing my own thing, I don't worry too much about that. All right, Connie, get that back on there. I'm trying to get it on nice and even. All right, is it straight? It's straight. Good. Okay, and then the next piece is the zip strip, and I do like the toffee zip strip, so there's that. And then the next piece is this strip. Just like that. All right, now we are at the point where it's time for the big piece, and I want to put it on. Yeah, oh yeah, that worked out nice. Okay, so I want to put it on so that it's adhered all around the edges and maybe a little bit here, but I need room for my tucking, and I'm gonna cover this up with photo mats. So I'm going to put adhesive on this end, and on this end, and then over here and here. I can always add liquid glue under there if I'm not quite, you know, if it's not quite the way I want it to be in a minute. All right. Okay, perfect. Yeah, see, I'm definitely gonna need more adhesive under here, but it's all gonna flatten out and it's all gonna look really good, and I'm so not worried. Okay, now I need my background piece, and it looks like I'm gonna have to put it upright in order for that to work. So I'm going to tuck this in, and I definitely want it to be all the way to the edge, just like that. Okay, and then I have my other tear that's going to go in here like that. And so that's going to get adhesive, and it's going to go all the way to the edge. And it doesn't matter, like you can make it up a little higher or down a little lower, whichever way you want more stuff to show. I like the blue like this. Okay, now I can add adhesive to this edge, and if you really want to make it kind of dimensional, you could use foam tape right under that edge, and it would really stand out. Like it would give you a shadow underneath, like if you used foam tape to lift this up just a little. But I'm not going to. I'm just gonna glue it down. I don't really need this much glue. I'm just being over cautious, I think. All right. And again, like I said, this is going to be covered up with photo mat. Now I have to decide on the color of photo mat that I want. And I am thinking I need more of this toffee. So they used, if you look at theirs, they used like the pine green on top of the light colors, but I'm going to do it, you know, backwards. So I think I'm going to use a toffee photo mat, and then let me grab it. Okay. I like the dark. I like the dark toffee. I could use red. That's the other option I pulled. I mean, any of the, ooh, the red's cool. Should I use red? That adds something, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm gonna use red. They have a 4x6 photo. And I'm glad that's not 5x7, because no way, I don't like to print 5x7s very often. But I could make it vertical or horizontal even if I wanted to. But let me cut the photo mat. Whenever I cut 6 1/4, so it's a quarter bigger, you know, 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. And now we can play a little with the papers. Isn't that nice? That's really cool. Now look at what they did. They did little swash of paper there, and a little tiny piece up there. So they really have, these probably are not full pieces of paper. You really only need just a sliver. You know what I mean? Like even this, let's just say I wanted to use my scrap. I could just put that scrap right there and cut it, and see how it makes it look like a full piece, but by the time you tuck all the other stuff under there, you won't be able to tell that's not a full piece. Okay, so what they did is, if you notice, they used right here the two prints that aren't used anywhere else on the layout. So in my world, since I flipped things, that would be using these as the tuck pieces. And if I use those to tuck, I think it'll look fine, and you can't tell necessarily that they're totally travel themed. And the other piece, I could use the airplane. So I have these three pieces, and just to get, you know, the color scheme going, I can use one of these sheets. So yeah, I think I'll do that. All right, so I'm gonna leave this layout here, and I'm gonna start with the tuck on the right side. I don't know, I'm just gonna cut a couple of strips, see how it goes. Maybe I'll cut them both at about 2.5, and that one's 3.5. That one's 3.5, that one's like 2.5. Can't really go wrong. So I'm gonna just cut this 3.5 inch strip, and it's two-sided, right? Although I think I cut that the wrong way, but we'll see. We'll see how it looks. Sorry, I'm cutting it down the right direction so that it looks right, because otherwise it won't look right to me. It'll drive me crazy. Okay, so I have this piece. I think this piece will go better over here and be long. And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't really matter like how I show that. I'm gonna cut that off at the 5 3/4 inch mark or so, just so I have it to showing down the side. And then this piece I'm gonna tuck do I want this one here, or do I want this one here? Preferences. Oh, a London trip would be great for this. Oh my gosh. This, see, people who really travel, you know, that's really what it's used for. And you have people like me who are like, use it for whatever. All right, so I'm going to put that there and that there. And then this little piece I'll use at the top like a, I don't know, just a little torn edge piece. I probably have a scrap of this I could use instead of cutting a scrap off. Whew. I'm getting tired. My day has been nuts. All right, I'm just gonna tear that off, and this is gonna end up behind here like that. Now the rest is stickers and stamps, and so I could grab the sticker sheet. Let me go ahead and attach these things. I am gonna put this on foam tape just because of this background thing. It just is gonna make it way better. If I had to buy one thing and use up all my credit, it would be foam tape. I told you I can buy it really cheap online at other places, but this is really nice quality. I was starting to do a little bit of a kind of a freak out when I realized how I'm like, oh my gosh, I have not been able to find thin foam tape this nice. I found foam tape, but not this super thin stuff that I like so well. So it doesn't take much to freak me out, though. Every now and then, ever since Close to My Heart, you know, announced that they're going out of business, I've had a few little freakouts. So, all right, I'm gonna put that down just like that. And then this one I'm gonna put flat. And I'm not going to put any adhesive on the edges because I really am, I need to tuck, you know, especially in that top. I don't know why I'm being so precise because you know I don't care that much. All right. So I think that you guys are gonna like the layout that I'm sending you. It's just I was gonna do it as a little surprise, but you know, honestly, I just think that I think you're gonna like it, and I wanted to tell you about it. You're gonna need a few things yourself, like white cardstock base. All right, so here is my piece that I'm putting on for my photo, and I don't want to put that totally down yet. I'm just gonna put a little sticker thing behind it so it doesn't totally stick. I can pull that up, you know. All right, now I'm ready for stickers. Let me grab them. I'm obviously not going to use the Travel With Me that they used I could, I mean, technically, if I'm going to use Steve's racetrack things, you should see the track he's going to. Oh my God, he's going like next weekend or something. It's crazy, that track. It kind of freaks me out a little bit how wild it is. I'm like, he had to have a roll bar placed in his car. That's a good sign that it's scary. Okay, I'm using my scissors, and I am gonna use this piece of toffee. And one of the things it looks like they did was they kind of rolled up this piece or distressed it a little bit too. It's not completely like a roll, but it's just kind of raised and distressed, and so, and then this piece is tucked behind at an angle. Let's see, how do I want this? I think I do want it like that. And I'm okay with this not matching down here at the bottom because I am going to put a cluster of things there. here's that piece that I tore that's gonna tuck in, so I better put it down. I'm gonna put that here. Just adds a little color. Now the other thing, they used this tag, which is great, but it's all covered up. So I'm like, well, how much of that do you really need? I'm gonna save that. And I'm gonna tuck this in, and it goes like here. And then they have a couple other things. They have a passport tucked in there, and they have this little polka dot tab right here that's tucked in. As far as the passport goes, I don't think very much of it is going to show anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and use it and just tuck that in behind. Yeah, I like it. Okay, there's that. And then they have the geotag. I'm thinking I might use this little car key ring. I might use that as a cluster down here. So I'm just laying that in place. And then they have a whole bunch of little stuff. They have some of the, okay, I gotta show you. So they have some of the paperboard cutouts. SBC, scrapbook, what? Help me. Scrapbook.com, is that what you mean? I'll look at that. This is the little paperboard pieces. I'm not going to use, I didn't buy them. I have others. This little cluster right here is technically on the page, but not on the scrapbook page. And so I am open to tucking some things in here and making a journaling thing right there. And so, you know, I love this take the scenic route thing, and I think I might tuck that in into here. They have it like right here. And I love the see the world. That's really a cool idea with that particular, with those pictures in mind. I'm putting foam tape on them. And maybe an arrow or two, right? Wow, I'm liking how this is coming together. What do you guys think? Do you like it so far? Could you see yourselves recreating this? You know, one of the things, like, okay, like instead of the compass, it'd be really cool for me to stamp like, you know, like a car odometer or something. And put that on there. But that looks nice. Let's see. And I'll put this up there. And maybe an arrow or something. Okay. All right. I think I'm ready to pull out that piece. I'm going to put these on foam, and come on, I need to lift that out. All right. There we go. What else would you guys use this for? Do you have a plan? Is there anything that you could see using this for besides, like, have you taken any trips that you could use this for? You know, the other pictures that I have that are so amazing, at Disney, there used to be a place called the Adventurers Club. Anybody been there? If you're a Disney freak, I miss it so much. We used to go there every time, you know, we went to Disney. Oh my gosh, it's so incredible. All right, where did my little key thing go? Oh, look, it's stuck to my sleeve. Okay. Brother. Now it's like, I'm taking all the sticky off of it, so. All right, well, here's my page 1. Now, I gotta decide on a title. And I think what I'll do is I will wait to make my title because I can title it with where he is located. You know what I mean? Wow, this is really cool. I like how this has turned out. Nice, nice. Anybody got any more comments or anything on it? I need something red over here. I may make something red over here, but I definitely will do something journal-y there. Those little things. Cool, cool. The other thing that I was thinking is, you know, they have used a stamped image on the bottom, and I did pull the coordinating sets for this because, you know, they used this arrow right here, and they used this globe, and they used the passport on their layout, but mine is a little bit different. Now I could, I'm out of here. Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. So I could put, I have those skid mark, tire mark stamps that I could put across here, and then right here, I'm out of here. Oh, I'm totally gonna do that. That's awesome. And then, so for page 2, it's just gonna be a flip of this on the other side. So I have all the papers. I don't think you need to watch me. I've been on here forever. And I'll put it together, and when I'm done, I will post the finished layout. Flipping the colors, wow. It feels bold, doesn't it? It just feels really, it's like a different layout to flip the colors, but I like them both. And you know what? You could almost have them back to back in the same book, and you wouldn't necessarily know that was the same layout. That's really interesting. Now on the other page, I'll probably do something different with the photos because, you know, it'll be this direction or whatever, and I'll put multiple, or yeah, I'll do something else with the photos on that side. Not just one, because oh my gosh, my books, I would have hundreds and hundreds of them if I only put one per page, right? Yeah, I like this green. I like this green background because it looks like a little map, and it kind of does look like some of the race routes that Steve takes when he goes on his trips. So we get his car back, oh, probably this weekend. There's a guy who like travels everywhere and does all this stuff on professional race cars and stuff, and when he's home, he calls and sees if we need anything done to our car, and we just take it in, and he works on it when he has a chance. So it's been there for a couple weeks. Okay. You know what? It's just track. So it's not really racing, but it is still scary. There are still people who get hurt and that kind of thing. Although there are a lot of physicians at the track. So, yeah. And Steve and I laughed that, you know, if something did happen to him and he died on the track, which that I don't think has ever happened, but if he would die happy. Yeah, so like at least he was doing something he loved. So, all right. There we go. That is it. If you guys have questions about what is happening, when things are going to happen, what is going to happen, I can tell you everything I know. Just message me. I think I've tried to keep you up to date as I possibly can. So, thanks for watching. Appreciate you all. Bye-bye.